Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. In this video, I'm going to share with you opinions from several different chart analysts in terms of price. The first piece I'm going to run through, it's on your screen right here. And this particular analyst, not to spoil too much, but I'll just tell you up front, thinks on the high end, in terms of short-term price action, could potentially see XRP at $4. So I'll get you up to date with all the rationale behind this particular chart analyst's opinion. I've got a piece I'm going to share this one for the end of the video because it's unrelated to XRP. I just found it fascinating, but it's titled "A Bitcoin Proponent Talks About Dangers of Centralized Cryptocurrencies." I've also got a tweet from an XRP community member who I would say is pretty well known, also runs a YouTube channel, although doesn't post as much as he used to, and I like the guy. He said something that I suppose is going to bother some people. It doesn't bother me at all. But he's saying that he doesn't think necessarily that XRP's going to get any higher than $30 within the next 10 years. So yeah, I'm going to share it with you, and you can tell me what you think in the comment section below. But before we get rolling here, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, go ahead. Do yourself a favor, subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. I definitely appreciate all the support. So, real quick update here. Market cap for the asset class, $223 billion. Bitcoin's at $8,254. And XRP at 27.64 cents as I record this, at the 24-hour high being 28.02 cents. And here's the chart right there. So, exciting stuff has been happening, right? We saw with the most recent run-up in the market that it was led by XRP. That's the coolest thing on the planet. It seems like just about every chart analyst on the planet is bullish for XRP, at a minimum in the short term here. So take a look at the title of this piece. XRP's launch sequence begins. Destination 90% upside in upcoming months. All right, XRP's move so far has been perfectly adhered to the path toward a major pump since the last mention. The price has risen by approximately 28% since the end of September, and there is more upside on the horizon. Now, 28% sounds like a lot, and that's why I do like to point out, if you want to talk about XRP failing or not failing in terms of price action, if that's going to be your metric, arbitrarily choose a timeline, and you can paint whatever picture you want. Oh, by the way, I should note this. The guy's name, this chart analyst, I'm going to butcher this probably, but his name is Akash Jiramath with AMB Crypto here. All right, the price stood at 27 cents with a market cap of $12 billion, hovering just below Ethereum. It is an optimistic hope that by the time these targets are half achieved, there will be flippening and XRP will regain its throne as the second largest cryptocurrency in the world, which is super duper and all, but I still wanted to take that number one spot. We coming for you, Bitcoin, because utility does indeed matter. And check out this subheading in this piece. XRP's time to shine, the major pump. The XRP community has been relentlessly waiting for a pump since the end of the 2017-2018 rally. The hopes of $589 and the Riddler kept part of the community going. The split community seems to have merged as they've come to terms with unrealistic targets. And I gotta tell you, I don't know about you, but seriously, I'm still waiting for XRP to hit $589 by the end of 2018. That's a joke. That was last year. But that was a prediction going around, right? Wasn't that the whole thing? I personally never bought into that whole thing. It just seemed completely preposterous to me. Anyway, although the past performance is not indicative of future price actions, it can still act as a reference. The factors that played a role in the 2017 run-up are long gone by now, so it is better to be pragmatic about expectations. XRP's rise will be hindered by a major resistance zone as seen above, with ranges from 39 cents to 50 cents. If there is a swift breach of this zone, the price will have a breathing room and be free to move higher from there. And then, if you can't look at the screen, if you're driving, for example, don't worry about it. He's got 5 bullet points of price targets, with the fifth one being the highest. And again, so from this individual chart analyst perspective, is this attainable, what I'm about to share with you, if there's enough momentum? That's the opinion of this chart analyst. I don't make price predictions. I don't pretend to be a chart analyst. It's not something I know how to do. I really don't even have interest in learning. I'm just more interested in understanding fundamentals because I think price action will follow that ultimately. So again, not financial advice whatsoever, but It states that $4 as the high for the short term, in terms of short term price action for XRP, $4 is in the cards, according to this particular chart analyst. And then he writes, depending on the magnitude of the momentum, XRP's price will hit these targets accordingly. If the momentum is humongous, the previously mentioned resistance zone will be taken out without a hitch. The move from this point onward would be easy to achieve once the bulls have completely taken over the third biggest cryptocurrency. And I look forward to the day, because even though I don't make price predictions, and this absolutely is not financial advice, I look forward to one day, the previous all-time high of $3.92, I look forward to that being support at some point in the distant future. I certainly hope that comes to pass. All right, take a look at this. This is at the Crypt Talk on Twitter, XRP community member writes, Happy Sunday. XRP broke the downtrend line as expected and is now holding above, missing a tap around 28.4 cents before retesting the support and fly to the first target between 29.5 cents and 30.2 cents. We'll retest 28.4 cents before starting the real impulse to 42.6 cents and also 62 to 68 cents. So again, similar sentiment to the chart analyst that I just shared with you. Take a look at this tweet from the same individual here, Crypt Talk. Please go ahead, short Bitcoin go. Hope for $7,400 to break. Go, please fill our longs. Delusional bears. $16,000 incoming for Bitcoin. That's what Crypt Talk has to say here. And look, I know that's not about XRP, but look, XRP, we know it to be a fact, like it or not. The vast majority of the time, despite the outlier instance where within the last week or so, Bitcoin did follow XRP, it's more like most of the time XRP is going to follow Bitcoin in terms of price action. It, like every other cryptocurrency on the planet, is tethered to the price actions of Bitcoin. So if you do see this kind of upward price action, if Bitcoin really gets to 16,000, it's going to be good for XRP. And again, in terms of the top 10 cryptocurrencies, it is the second to least correlated to Bitcoin in terms of price action. So could stay flatter for a longer period of time, but it doesn't matter. If it's good for Bitcoin, it's going to be good for XRP in terms of price action. All right, take a look at this. This is from Crypto Maniac 101. Put this out right before I went to record, so I was able to shove it into this video. Take a look here. This one doesn't have it's a trading view piece that I wrote. Doesn't have a price prediction in here, but I wanted to share the sentiment with you. So here's what I have to say, because it bodes well for XRP holders, if accurate, right? All right, so if we look closely at the 2017 versus 2019 fractal, we will see similar movement occurring nearly within the same time frame. Although no fractal is a guarantee of a repeat in the future, we are 7 out of 8 movements into a possible accumulation / breakout phase. So again, he's saying one more pop, and like pretty much to the moon, essentially. Next move should theoretically result in an abrupt green candle. According to the specific fractal, we should see this type of movement this quarter. However, delays are always prone to happening, although unlikely. And I should read this too. So the Twitter, the little tweet where he's linking to his trading view piece here, it says, XRP fractal indicates for a breakout in Q4. So specifically, he's thinking the fourth quarter this year. Anyway, another important thing to keep in mind is that even though a popular argument is to say that this market is nascent compared to stocks or precious metals market, and no TA, technical analysis, can be built around it to reflect accurately the future move, I would argue that all markets are controlled by the same group. Therefore, even though they seem unpredictable, they still can be predicted with ease in a way, and at least a general trajectory can be drawn. So you can take that for what it's worth. Here's another chart analyst here, Keith Waring, writes a piece titled Bitcoin Price Flatlines at 8,400 as Bollinger Bands Predict Breakout. And I want to scroll down here because he did talk about, if this is the piece I'm thinking of, yeah, here we go, XRP. XRP/USD. One coin that looks set to break out from its bearish cycle in the short term is XRP. This past week, there's been a noticeable uptick in social media coverage after Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse appeared in a candid interview on the Off the Chain podcast hosted by Anthony Pompliano. Garlinghouse addressed the controversial issues surrounding XRP, such as Ripple's substantial holdings and speculation around the possible classification of XRP as a security. Luckily for Ripple, this media exposure has appeared to give XRP a boost, and from a technical point of view, the timing couldn't be better. So I don't know for sure if you can attribute that to what Brad Garlinghouse said. I don't know how many people checked out that podcast, but I will say this. It was publicly announced, I can't remember by who, but I covered it in a previous video in case you missed it. That podcast with Brad Garlinghouse was twice as popular as any other podcast that Anthony Pompliano put out in the calendar year of 2019. Twice as popular. The XRP community is no joke, man. Okay, unless you think it's all XRP bots downloading Anthony Pompliano's podcast, that's ridiculous. Anyway, the MACD on the weekly chart for XRP/USD looks primed to cross bullish on the next candle close. XRP has fallen in value by over 50% since its yearly high of 51 cents in June, and this next move could set it on a path to overtake Ether by market cap over the coming weeks. Next here. Some of this starts to get a little bit too techy. I should probably just jump into the next piece anyway. That's the gist of it. So there you go. That's several chart analysts all have nothing but positive, glowing comments regarding the price action of XRP and the direction that they expect it to go. Take a look at this. I'm a fan of DM Logic. Are you familiar? He's got a YouTube channel. He really doesn't post nearly as much as he used to. I think he hasn't put out his most recent video for probably a few weeks or so. I haven't seen anything from him anyway, but I like this guy. So he tweeted out, he's not afraid to be a little controversial, so just tell me what you think about this. He writes, "I'm going to admit something I'm hoping will set you off. I can't envision XRP getting over about $30 in the next 10 years. I don't think it will need to, because I think full adoption of their primary use case is going to take a long time. Tell me why I'm wrong." Well, I don't know if he's wrong. I have no idea. All right. I'll say this. If XRP continues to get mass adoption, if cryptocurrency, if people continue to just jump into the asset class as its staying power continues to get proven, that's going to change everything, because it's just a matter of to what degree is the asset class adopted, and how many people does that mean? Is institutional money coming in? There's just so many factors, there's no way to know. But if the adoption goes the direction that I suspect it will, I'd kind of be surprised if it took 10 years to get into those types of ranges. But I don't know. That's, again, not financial advice. I don't know what's going to happen. Don't buy or sell because of me, just because I said that. I don't know. But it's going to be fun to figure out together, though, right? I wish I had a functioning crystal ball. I do have a crystal ball, little known fact, but it's broken. So it doesn't do anything for me here. Alex Cobb, fellow XRP YouTuber, responded, "XRP was built to accommodate 7.5 billion plus people. We are talking facilitating all international transactions, trillions a day, quadrillions a year." DM Logic responds, "No way that it will capture 100% of that market, and we shall see about adoption before then. Thanks for the response." The Frecky wrote, "I agree. There will always be outliers, companies that will hurt just because they don't want to follow along, even fail. Add in future competition, tech politics, and it's just not realistic to see 100%. I would like to go to 25% plus." Well, look, in terms of adoption, guys, this is not exactly what is going to determine the price of XRP. It's more like speculators determine the price of XRP, and then if there's a sufficient blend of XRP price and liquidity, then XRP can be used as a bridge currency. But most people have it exactly backwards, and that's why I like to keep hammering this point home. It's not that these transactions have to happen, and then as a result, XRP must be a certain price, which I hear people say all the time, and I'm sorry, but that's just a mistaken point of view here. So you can tell me what you think. Controversial, maybe a little bit. I don't mind it. I mean, I'm happy. To me, it's fun to think through stuff like this and the direction things are going, but you can tell me what you think. All right, last piece here. Bitcoin proponent talks about dangers of centralized cryptocurrencies. Libra. From banning Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to launching its own digital currency, China's recent developments have prompted policymakers across the globe to take a second look at cryptocurrencies. The country's venture into the digital currency space with the introduction of central bank-issued digital currency, CBDC, was one of the topics discussed by Michael Novogratz, founder and CEO of Galaxy Digital. During an interview with CNN, Novogratz brought up China's plans of launching its own digital currency, following which he explained the dangers of centralized digital currency. The Bitcoin proponent stated that China already broadly has a digital currency, and they are working on a crypto yuan, adding that Alipay and WeChat were widely used by its citizens, which is going to roll out in other countries. Considering the presence China has in Africa and South America, Novogratz stated that U.S. regulators and the government should be more willing to look at things like the Facebook Libra program. He explained the reason as, quote, "It's an arms race and, you know, you look at the predominance of the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency that gets put at risk real quick if everybody is buying and selling things on Alipay." And then the piece continues. This was followed by Novogratz speaking about the risks involved in countries like India and China launching its own cryptocurrency. He said that a centralized cryptocurrency is a dangerous proposition because cryptocurrencies are programmable money. He further explained this by citing the example of China's digital currency. And here's another quote from Novogratz. China's version of cryptocurrency is centralized. They own it. They have amazing technology already because 95% of Chinese payments are done on phones. All those phones get pushed into a shared database that the government forces. Alibaba, WeChat, they all take all your spending data and give it to a government clearinghouse. Okay, so if you're talking about tracking, I mean, that stuff's already happening, though. Fundamentally, I don't see what's happening if you just go through, change from what, look, I would argue the fiat currencies, they're already, pick your fiat currency, they're already digitized. So by turning it into a blockchain, what are you fundamentally changing in the way that as far as people behave? I don't know. I just don't quite see it the same way as Novogratz here. But you can tell me what you think below. I better wrap up this video before it gets too long. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!